Egon, can you hear me? Unmute.
Yes, I can.
Okay, Bunny is not here yet, so here she comes. Never mind. Here she comes.
And my phone is ringing. I know. Very good. Sorry. I have to ask Joan a question here because on the agenda it shows several resolutions to be approved in one vote. And my understanding.
I agree. Bunny, I think we should wait till you do the agenda. I'm going to move them to, there's 3 of them that I would like to move.
Okay, so I can't quite hear you because you're on the screen there. So what you're saying is that we should basically move all those under the consent calendar that have a resolution, move them to new business. Is that correct?
Unfinished business.
Unfinished. Okay. All right. So let me, I really apologize. That's not my fault.
All right, Bunny.
Okay. All right.
Everybody turn their phones off.
All right. So,
Take your time.
whose phone is that?
Take your time.
Huh?
Take your time and get it.
We're okay. Everybody's okay.
Good.
We'll wait. Get yourself situated. We're not going anywhere.
Be calm. Okay. Okay. All right.
Take a deep breath.
So much to talk about. All I'm doing is turning on my hearing aid here.
It's only 4 minutes.
Okay. Here we go. Thank you. So, welcome everybody, and thank you for being here. So the regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the Golden Rain Foundation of Laguna Woods, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation, this Tuesday, April 5th, 2022, 9:30 Laguna Woods boardroom, calls this meeting to order. So Director Skillman, would you lead in the Pledge of Allegiance?
It'd be my privilege. Will you all join me, please, in proudly saluting our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So the next order of business, we acknowledge the media. And the next item is the approval of the agenda. So we need to change the items under the consent calendar, B, C, D, E, and F, and put them under unfinished business. And the reason for that is we do have to vote on each resolution individually rather than in one vote. Joan.
No, you covered it. Thank you.
Thank
Sorry.
you. Okay. So the agenda, are there any other additions or changes to the agenda?
This item to the agenda came up.
Well, that item is already under the agenda,
Okay.
in the agenda, and it's just an addition to what we already have.
Okay.
Okay. So the next item is, or I'm sorry. So if there's no other changes to the agenda, are there any objections? So if there's no objections, the agenda is approved corrected. Thank you. So the next item is the approval of the minutes for February 17, 2022, GRF Board Agenda Prep Meeting. Are there any changes, deletions, or corrections?
Sorry. Point of order, Madam Chair.
Yes?
Just need to acknowledge the media and establish a quorum. Did you hear me?
We have a quorum.
Established.
Thank you, Joan, and I did not acknowledge the media.
Sorry. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So the next item would be approval of the minutes for February 17th, 2022, GRF Board Agenda Prep Meeting. Are there any changes or deletions? Are there any objections? So if there are no objections, the minutes are approved. So the next item would be the approval of the minutes for March 1, 2022 GRF Board Regular Open Meeting. Are there any changes, corrections? No. Okay. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. So the next item will be March 3rd, 2022 GRF Open, Special Open Meeting. Are there any changes or corrections, deletions? Hearing none. Is there any objection? So if there are no objections, the minutes of March 1st, 2022 are approved. March 17th, the next is the approval of the minutes for March 17th, 2022, GRF Board Agenda Prep Meeting. Are there any corrections or deletions? So if there are hearing none, are there any objections? If there are no objections, the minutes of March 17, 2022 are approved. So the next is the chair minutes, the report. And the only thing that I want to talk about is the latest incident that occurred in our village regarding a hate crime. So what had happened in the village, and I don't know if any of you have actually read the article in the Orange County Register, but there was a woman that lives in our village that was actually wearing a swastika armband and is facing a possible hate crime and other charges, in a conflict with multiple, these were Laguna Woods people earlier this month. So the only thing that I want to say is that I concur, and I'm sure the GRF board concurs, as the same as a city, that we stand together and we do not, we condemn the alleged conduct. I just wanted to go live and mention this situation. It is being handled. So the next item would be the CEO report.
Thank you. Honorable President, members of the board, I have 3 updates this morning that I'd like to share with you.
Okay.
First of all, I want to talk about the new and improved bulky item collection program. I was going to have some slides, I think. I'm sorry. Residents may now dispose of unwanted items on a weekly basis. They no longer have to wait till the 3rd Saturday of every month to dispose of their bulky items. And there is no need now to call resident services to make that arrangement. So that's a very efficient way to take care of it. Your pickup day will depend on your zone, and your zone is determined by your building number. There are 5 collection zones within the village to correspond with the 5 days of the week. Please place your bulky items where you normally place your trash and have them out before 8 a.m. on collection day. On the slide before you now, this will show you how the collection days are determined. If you look at the slide, building number 1 through 125, for example, is collected on Tuesdays. Buildings 126 through 232 are collected on Mondays, and so forth. This slide is also available on our website under the News tab if you want to look up and see your collection day for your weekly bulky item pickup. In terms of items that are accepted, thank you. Furniture, electronic waste, home appliances, and mattresses are part of the bulky item program. Items that cannot be accepted include car parts, construction or demolition waste, hazardous waste, and any items that cannot be loaded reasonably by 2 individuals who are there to pick up the bulky items. The other new program I want to draw your attention to, in response to recent concerns from residents who cannot get quarters for their laundry machines, coins are now available from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday in the Community Center Recreation Office. $10 rolls are available for purchase. There's a limit of 1 roll per individual. And we ask that residents pay with exact change, so either 2 $5 bills or 1 $10 bill. This just keeps everything very efficient. And then lastly, I want to invite everyone to the 2022 Health and Wellness Expo. This is a free event that is occurring on Saturday, April 23rd, starting at 10 a.m. in Clubhouse 5. It features sponsor host booths, lectures, and much more. There will be complimentary food, fresh juice shots, sponsor giveaways, while supplies last. Attendees are also available to secure sponsor initials on a sponsor passport and be eligible for raffle prizes at the end of the program. So that is my update this morning, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yes.
So I don't know if it's a question more than a comment. So now with this bulky item weekly, that should hopefully eliminate that when people put their junk by the trash cans and it sits there.
That is the intent. It's not only more convenient that you can do it on a weekly basis and you no longer have to call for a pickup. So the intent was to, yes, improve the aesthetics of the community.
Great, because, yeah, that has been a problem. So that's great news. Thank you.
So my question, Siobhan, I remember years back, we used to have a truck from VMS that went around to all the trash bins and picked up. Do we still have that?
We're trying to get out of that business. We do make pickups when we need to, but again, we're hoping with the more frequent pickups that can be reduced or even eliminated, but it's too soon to tell.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me. May I ask a question, Madam President?
Yes.
I'm back here. I'm all the way. On the curbside, both people can put it at the curbside and by the trash can or not?
We're asking that it be placed where you normally put your trash containers, so that varies depending on your building type.
Okay. Yeah, if you have a bin, you put it by the bin?
That's correct.
If you have a trash can, you put it by the curb?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions?
Yes. One more question.
Okay, Joan?
Yeah, Siobhan, as 3-story buildings, the trash cans are in a compartment, and there's no room for extra stuff. So usually in the 3-story buildings, there is a separate place that isn't right next to the trash cans necessarily.
Thank you, Joan, for clarifying that. I would use whatever you have used in the past, yes, for your placement.
Thank you.
So the next item is open forum, 3 minutes per speaker. So at this time, the members may only address the board of directors regarding items that are not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of this board of directors. The board reserves the right to limit the amount of time allotted to the open forum to 30 minutes. A member may speak only once during the forum. Speakers may not give their time to other people. No audio or video recording by attendees, and no rude or threatening comments. So do we have any speakers?
Yes, we have Chris Collins, Manor 3306Q.
Thank you.
Good morning. Chris Collins, 3306Q. I'm here to give you another update on the work of the foundation. on behalf of residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. Our motto is Neighbors Helping Neighbors, and I want to tell you about a good example of how we're trying to walk that walk. So this is about a new fall prevention workshop that's being offered, as well as there's a lecture series called Optimum Aging Series. So are you less steady on your feet? Are you unable to walk as far as you used to? Are you fearful of falling? You're not alone. The pandemic has made some older adults less active, and with that, lessened activity comes physical deconditioning. But the loss of physical conditioning is reversible. So to address the problem, the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village is partnering with Social Services and UCI Irvine Division of Geriatrics to offer a series of fall prevention workshops for village residents on a first-come, first-served basis. Also, there will be a series of 5 workshops called Optimal Aging, and these are going to be offered the third Wednesday of every month, beginning on April 20th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. at Clubhouse 2. The workshop will cover such topics as home and community safety, medication, falls, bone health, osteoporosis, and life changes to prevent falls. The sessions are free and will be conducted by the UCI staff. In addition, to help residents maximize the health, UCI and Social Services will also be offering the Optimal Aging series of talks on the first Wednesday of the next 6 months to be provided by UCI staff and faculty. First talk is actually this week, April 6th at 2 to 3:30 in Clubhouse 2, and it focuses on mobility and stability. It's called Keeping Your Feet on the Ground. The initiative, these initiatives are part of the Foundation's effort to help the entire community as it celebrates its 25th anniversary. It's the Foundation's way to say thank you. The Foundation could not have reached these milestones without the support of the entire village community. We also welcome your input. If you have additional suggestions on how to build on these efforts, please contact the Foundation at 949-268-2246 or the Foundation at comline.com. And for more information on about how the Foundation achieves its mottos, which is Neighbors Helping Neighbors, please go to our website at the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village.org. Thank you.
We have Sheenwold Manor 5155.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning. I am speaking on an agenda item. I hope it's permitted at this time.
You should speak when the agenda item comes up.
Okay, so I'll come back. How's that? I just didn't want to do it at the wrong time.
Thank you.
We have McIntosh Manor 68-C.
Okay. We need to
Good
start
morning.
the clock. Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead, Maxine.
Good morning, neighbors. Very happy to be here. Happy to see all of you here. Here we are back in this room again, thank goodness. I know that the boards are beginning to talk about elections ahead and thinking of candidates. I just hope whoever is planning to put a name forward for GRF realizes what it means when you say don't nominate someone who is going to bring a special agenda. If a person is promising to single-handedly cure a problem, that's not the right attitude to serve on the board. This board represents the whole village, and you people are doing a really good job now. This is a good example of how a board should be behaving, and I hope we get some good candidates when it's time in a few months. I want to comment on the movies that are chosen, and of course that's a sponsorship of GRF. It's wonderful. I think it was Friday's movie was Belfast, am I right? That's a first-run movie, up for Academy Awards at the same time we were watching it. And that's really nice for the people who stay home and watch their village television. Some people have to, and others choose to. I think that's wonderful. Not too many years ago, we had one movie a week, and now we have 2 and 3, sometimes even one more than that. And that's a wonderful service that you provide for the community. Let's see. Village needs per minute. That's it. I got through my list. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers?
We have one email
Okay.
from a Karen Matchin, Manor 321F. They said, "Dear board, I walk the Serpentine, Friendship, and Aliso Creek walkways daily. I've never seen any bicycles until recently, and an electric bicycle at that. I approached the person to explain that this was a walking path only. She stated that she had looked it up and could find no evidence prohibiting bicycles. There is no specific signage at the 3 entrances to the creek path. I'm requesting that signage stating no bicycles be added to the wooden entrance signs." And then she included rules regarding bicycles specifically on this email attachment that I can pass to you later. And that is it.
I appreciate that, but I didn't hear a word you were saying. So I'm
Let
not
me
able
help
to
you.
answer. Okay, Lenny?
Good morning, Madam President. So 2 issues I wanted to speak to. One of the issues is the issue that you talked to in your comments about the lady who was wearing the swastika in our community. And there could be no tolerance for that in our community. And we as board members need to take an active affront against that type of activity. And that's why I'd like to know if you can tell me, staff, if you can tell me where this resident lives. Does she rent? Does she own a place? Because I, as a board member, am going to be having our meeting next week and would like to decide if we want to further this investigation on behalf of our board, maybe to encourage her to move out of our community, and if we have the authority to do that. So this is something that I think it's very important that we further this, because we just can't tolerate this in our community. So I'd like to talk to staff outside of this meeting, find out a little more about what's going on. The second issue is the completely unrelated to the first issue, is the trash cans that have come into our community. And I'm receiving a lot of letters from residents saying that the trash can height is too high. And it's about 45 inches high. And I'm 5'10". It's no problem for me. I just lift it and push it on. But there's a lot of residents that are quite a bit older than me and are female that aren't my height, that are like 4'5" or 4 feet or a little taller than that, and have to lift it like a weight and move it over their heads, and they can't do that. And I think we as a community need to tell the trash folks that they need to come back with shorter height trash cans for our residents, because this is intolerable. And that's what I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you. So on the first item, in regards to the disruption with the woman with the swastika, is that it basically is in the hands of the Orange County Sheriff. Okay, so Laguna Woods Village, and it is a crime. So it requires action outside of our village and not inside of our village. And so if this person is coming before, going to be found guilty, we really can't do anything until they actually prove the crime has been committed. And so I don't know if Siobhan wants to make a remark on that?
Actually, I'm going to ask Carlos Rojas, our Director of Operations, to speak to
Okay,
this, please.
thank you.
President Carpenter, Board, good morning. And yes, regarding that incident, it is being investigated by the Orange County Sheriff's Department. It is a criminal investigation, and they're looking at potential hate crime violations. And so at some point, we will hear what the outcome is of that situation. And internally, we do have a pending disciplinary case against the individual. And that's what
Okay,
I'm
thank
able
you.
to disclose at this time.
President Carpenter?
And
May I make
okay,
a
Jim.
comment? And while I think everybody shares the sentiment as to the outrageous behavior, I think the mutual board associated with that needs to be very careful about pursuing any sort of HOA led retaliation. And before you do anything, I would consult your attorney on that. I mean, I think we all share the sentiment, but we have to act as responsible board members, not just the individuals.
Yvonne?
My question isn't about
I'm sorry. My question isn't about the lady. Lenny, are you talking about the dumpsters or trash cans? Really? It's the dumpsters. Ah, okay. I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
And I can speak to the height issue. CR&R will be replacing those on a case-by-case basis, so if anyone has a specific location that is problematic, please report that to CR&R. You can do that via telephone or email. Thank you.
Okay. So, Siobhan, in regards to the trash cans and being able to get a change out, basically, could you repeat what we can do about that?
We can call, residents need to call CR&R or email CR&R, and I'll get a slide with the information and put it up later in this meeting so everyone has it. I don't have it readily available at this moment. So just,
Okay, thank you. Joan, you have your hand up?
Yes. I'm thinking back to the swastika incident. You know, for optics purposes, it seems to me that our boards, plural, should make a corporate statement regarding it. Nothing more than just that we condemn it. But because although the mayor has made a statement and we agree with it, I think that the village itself should make a statement. That's my opinion.
Thank you. Reza.
On the Siobhan, on the dumpster, why we're going to do it by, whoever complains, because we don't know who's living where. If they systematically change all of those to the lower height, that take care of everybody. They can do it over a period of time rather than be selective here and there.
and perhaps that is an option, but in terms of priority, we want to take care of those people who simply
Okay.
cannot take care of it.
But overall, it would be better.
We will look into that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Are there any other emails or, okay, thank you. So we'll move on to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are recommended for action by committee and will be enacted by the board by one motion. In the event that an item is removed from the consent calendar by members of the board, such items shall be the subject of further discussion and action of the board. So the recommendation from Finance Committee, A, consistent with its statutory obligations, a subcommittee of the board consisting of the treasurer and at least one other board member reviewed and approved preliminary Golden Rain Foundation financials for the month of February 2022. By this vote, ratify such review be confirmed in this month's board meeting open session meeting minutes. Are there any objections? So there are no objections, the consent calendar is approved. So the next item, we will move on to unfinished business.
Sorry. Point of order, Madam Chair. There is a B, Laguna Hills Memorial Day Half Marathon. I assume we're approving that.
No, that's a resolution, so it also had to be moved to unfinished business.
You said C, D, E, and F, but that is letter B. Okay.
I said, okay, but we did move, just to confirm, we did move B, C, D, E, and F to unfinished business.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I misheard.
All right, so the next item is unfinished business. And the first item is the Laguna Hills Memorial Day Marathon 10K and 5K. So Joan, please read the resolution.
Right. Okay, Resolution 90-22XX, City of Laguna Hills Memorial Day Half Marathon 10K and 5K, request to use a portion of Laguna Woods Village. Whereas the City of Laguna Hills Memorial Day Half Marathon 10K and 5K is scheduled to take place on Monday, May 30th, 2022. And whereas the City of Laguna Hills is requesting that the Golden Rain Foundation allow a portion of the course to traverse Laguna Woods Village, to enter in Gate 2, traverse around Via Estrada, to Cali, Aragon, to Avenida Sevilla, to Avenida Mallorca, and back to Via Estrada and out Gate 2. Now, therefore, be it resolved, April 5th, 2022, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby authorizes the limited use of the community streets beside Gate 2 on the morning of May 30th, 2022 for the City of Laguna Hills Memorial Day Half Marathon 10K and 5K event, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I move that we approve this resolution.
Second it. Are there any objections?
Is there a second?
Hearing none. Hearing none, the resolution for the City of Laguna Woods Memorial Day Half Marathon is approved by unanimously. Thank you. So the next item would be the Saddle Club donation. So Joan, would you read the resolution?
Right. Resolution 90-22XX, donation agreement between GRF and Saddle Club for 2 shade shelters. This agreement entered into this 5th day of April 2022 is by and between the Golden Rain Foundation, GRF, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation, and Saddle Club donor who donated 2 shade shelters. Whereas GRF and donor recognize the should be importance of community facilities and amenities. And whereas GRF and donor acknowledge the benefit of donations when they have a purpose consistent with GRF goals and are in the best interest of Laguna Woods Village. And whereas the donor has offered to donate 2 shade shelters totaling $2,167.93. And whereas the Recreation Special Events Department Director, or COO, reviewed and affirms the proposed donation meets the criteria for acceptance contained in the GRF donation policy. A, meet a true need of the facility. B, not interfere with the intended current or future use of the facility. And C, not require the relocation of other equipment or infrastructure to accommodate the donation. Now, therefore, be it resolved, April 5th, 2022, that GRF and donor, in accordance with the described conditions and obligations hereinafter set forth and agree as follows. Section 1, the donation known as 2 shade shelters described below is donated in its entirety to GRF, hereafter owned by GRF and managed on behalf of the residents of Laguna Woods Village by Village Management Services, Inc., VMS. Section 2, donation description, 2 shade shelters. Space of facility, Equestrian Center turnout. Location, Equestrian Center. Section 3, amount of donation. Item cost, $2,167.93. Installation cost, 0. Maintenance cost, 0. Total estimated donation, $2,167.93. Section 4, GRF reserves the right to move or remove and or retire the donation following cessation of the 5-year period. The term shall commence upon the date entered into and indicated above. Section 5, GRF will not replace the donation or community space improvement if it is stolen, vandalized, worn out, irreparably damaged, destroyed, or expires. Section 6, installation and maintenance. GRF shall be responsible for installation and maintenance of the item, including any reasonable repairs. Section 7, term. The term of this agreement is a minimum of 5 years or beyond, if applicable. Resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized to carry out this resolution as written. I move we accept this resolution.
Do we have a second? Thank
You
you.
need a second.
We have a second. It was Yvonne or Debbie. Take your choice.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any objections? So if there are no objections, the Saddle Club donation, the Equestrian Center shade structure, is approved by unanimously. Thank you. All right, so the next item is the old Prose donation for the Equestrian Center. Joan, please read the resolution. You have a lot to read today.
Yeah. Resolution 90-22-XX, donation agreement between GRF and Old Prose. This agreement, entered into the 5th day of April 2022, is by and between the Golden Rain Foundation, GRF, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation, and Old Prose as donor for $1,000. Whereas GRF and donor recognize the importance, please change that word, of community facilities and amenities, and whereas GRF and donor acknowledge the benefit of donations when they have a purpose consistent with GRF goals and are in the best interest of Laguna Woods Village, and whereas the donor has offered to donate $1,000 for purchase of equipment and or tools such as rakes, shovels, and trash cans, and whereas the Recreation and Special Events Department Director, this will be modified, never mind. I'll read it as is, but it's going to be changed later. Whereas the Recreation and Special Events Department, or COO, reviewed and affirms the proposed donation meets the criteria for acceptance contained in the GRF donation policy. That is, to meet a true need of the facility, B, not interfere with the intended current or future use of the facility, and C, not require the relocation or other equipment or infrastructure to accommodate the donation. Now, therefore, be it resolved April 5th, 2022, that GRF and donor, in accordance with the described conditions and obligations, hereinafter set forth and agree as follows. These seven sections are exactly the same as the previous resolution. Do you want me to read them?
Second.
I didn't understand.
She had to know if she should read the exact same resolution again.
No.
All right, thank you. Okay, Section 1, the donation known as $1,000 described above is donated in its entirety to GRF, hereafter owned by GRF and managed on behalf of the residents of Laguna Woods Village by Village Management Services, Inc., VMS. Section 2, donation description, $1,000. Location, the Equestrian Center. Section 3, amount of donation, item cost, $1,000. Installation cost, 0. Maintenance cost, 0. Total estimated donation, $1,000. Section 4, GRF reserves the right to move or remove and or retire the donation following cessation of the 5-year period. The term shall commence upon the date entered into and indicated above. GRF will not replace the donation or community service space if it is stolen, vandalized, worn out, irreparably damaged, destroyed, or expires. Section 6, installation and maintenance. GRF shall be responsible for installation and maintenance of the item, including any reasonable repairs. Section 7, term. The term of this agreement is a minimum of 5 years or beyond if applicable. Resolved further that the officers and the agents of this corporation are hereby authorized to carry out this resolution as written. I move that we approve this resolution. Needs a second.
Thank you. We need a second. Thank you.
Who did it?
Reza.
Reza?
Thank you.
Are there any objections? Hearing none. This motion is approved unanimously. So the next item is Village Community Fund, Phase 2, Equestrian Center Help the Herd Program. Joan, please read the resolution.
Resolution 90-22-XX. Phase 2, Village Community Fund Equestrian Center Help the Herd Program. Whereas on April 5th, 2022, the GRF Board accepted VCF's application to start fundraising for the Equestrian Center Help the Herd Program in the amount of $33,565 in order to purchase the following: additional shade shelters, new round pen fence, and advanced veterinary care support for the GRF horses. And whereas in 2021, the Village Community Fund generated $10,000 in fundraised monies dedicated to the GRF Equestrian Center for the purpose of purchasing medical care, tack, and supplies, and shade shelters. And whereas any remaining donated funds will be redistributed to VCF. Now, therefore, be it resolved, April 5th, 2022, the Board of Directors of the corporation hereby, and I believe it should read accepts rather than adopts, accepts the donation of $33,565 from Village Community Fund for the Equestrian Center Help the Herd Program. And I would cut out in the amount of $32,565 because it's redundant. And then go on in order to purchase the following: additional shade shelters, new round pen fence, and advanced veterinary care support for the GRF horses. And resolves further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I move that we approve this resolution.
I'll second it with her corrections to accepts versus adopts and taking out that redundant line.
Thank you, Debbie. Good.
Are there any objections? If there are no objections, the Village Community Fund Phase 2 is approved unanimously. So the next item F is updated committee appointments. And we do have some additions that we need to add to the appointments. Last month, we approved an insurance ad hoc committee. And so I want to add that to the committee appointments. And the people that I have so far that would be on that committee. And I want to let you know that if you want to be in this committee, just to, contact your president, whatever mutual, contact your president or an advisor, contact me. So the people that will be on this insurance and ad hoc committee is Bunny Carpenter, GRF Chair, Anthony Libatori, United, Robert Munchnick, Third, Reza Karimi, GRF, Yvonne Horton, GRF, and Lee Isaacs as advisor.
Wait a minute. There are more people on this committee, by the way.
There are a lot. Do you want, I have this, Joan, I can give you this list later, if that's okay.
Okay, you've added some names to the all. Okay, we have other names that are already on it. Annie McCary, Elsie Addington, Chuck Holland, Debbie Dodson, Lucy Parker, Lynn Jarrett, Diane.
No, Joan, she's talking about the insurance ad hoc.
Oh, I am sorry. I am sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Oh dear.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
Bunny. Okay, I've got Bunny, Anthony, Robert, Reza,
Yvonne, and Leah Isaac. She's an advisor.
Yeah, Isaac. Right. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought. All right. Thank you. Okay, that will go under. That's just a separate committee, right?
That's under other committees.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll add. We'll add the village website committee next month, right?
Yes, it will be added next month because this month we're going to vote to establish the committee.
Right. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. I think I got it now.
Okay.
Resolution.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to read the changes plus this other committee. Resolution 90-22-12, GRF committee appointments. Resolved April 5th, 2022, that the following persons are hereby appointed and ratified to serve on the committees of this corporation. So I will read just the changes. Under Strategic Planning Committee, Reza Bastani on United has been dropped, and Diane Casey for United has been added. Under the advisors, Gay Page has been eliminated. Under the Community Activities Committee, Pearl Lee has been eliminated. Diane Casey of United has been added. And under the advisors, Ajit Gidwani has been added. Under the Equestrian Center Ad Hoc Committee, under advisors, Gary Empfeld has been eliminated.
So you're phasing out a little bit, Joan.
Okay. How's that? Better?
No,
Can
Joni,
you hear me, Bunny?
it sounds like you lost part of your mic.
Yeah.
I've lost part of it. Minute.
You got 50% quieter.
Yeah.
Look what I touched.
Try unplugging and plugging your mic back in.
Just speak louder.
How is this? Can you hear me?
No, I don't think your mic is working. I think it's just the computer mic that we're hearing you on.
Can you hear me on the?
You just yell loud.
If you like, this is Corporate Secretary. I can go ahead and continue reading.
Yes, but read just the changes.
Thank you. I believe we were on Community Activities Committee. Pearl Lee from United is removed. Dan Casey from United is added. Advisor Ajit Jidwani is added. Equestrian Center Ad Hoc Committee removed Gary Empfield. The Revenue Resources Ad Hoc Committee has been discontinued. The Finance Committee, Dan Casey is the alternate. Pat English from United is added. Information Technology Advisory Committee, Cash Akrakar from United has been added. Maintenance and Construction Committee, Lenny Ross from United has been added. Anthony Liberatore from United has been removed. Advisor Richard Palmer has been removed. Clubhouse Renovation Ad Hoc Committee, Pat English from United has been added. Advisors that have been added are Kathy Garris, Carl Randazzo, and Bill Walsh. The Mobility and Vehicles Committee, Lenny Ross from United has been added. Pearl Lee from United has been removed. And under other committees, Disaster Preparedness Task Force, Anthony Liberatore from United has been added. In the Purchasing Ad Hoc Committee, Diane Casey from United has been added. Anthony Liberatore from United has been added. And the Select Audit Task Force, Elizabeth Roper from United is removed, and Cynthia Rupert from VMS has been added.
So continue to read resolve further.
Oh, yes, sorry about that. Resolve further that Resolution 902202, adopted March 1st, 2022, is hereby superseded and canceled. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution.
Okay, Joan?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, a little better.
Can you hear me? Okay. The Revenue Resources Ad Hoc Committee was eliminated, the entire committee. And at the end, we added the other, under others, did you read the new insurance committee?
Yes.
Bunny Carpenter, Anthony Liberatore, Robert Munchnick, Reza Karanini, Avon, and Lei Lang. Did we get that?
No, I did not add that. So for the Insurance Ad Hoc Committee that was approved is Bunny Carpenter, Chair from GRF, Anthony Liberatore from United, Robert Muchnick from Third, Reza Karini from GRF, Yvonne Horton from GRF, and Lee Isaacs, Advisor.
Good. Okay. And then you read the last part. All right. Okay. I move that we accept this resolution.
Do we have a
Second.
Yvonne seconded. Are there any objections? Sure, if no objections, the committee appointments are approved unanimously. So the next item is business, is to entertain a motion to approve the formation of the website ad hoc committee. So Joan, you're on.
Okay, we'll try again. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
we can hear you now.
All right. Resolution 90-22-XX, Website Ad Hoc Committee. Whereas the formation of a website ad hoc committee is being considered by the Board of Directors pursuant to Article 7, Section 7.1.2, and Section 7.5 of the bylaws of the corporation. Whereas the primary mission of the website ad hoc committee is to engage the expertise of Internet and technology experts among residents and staff to develop a scope of work and an RFP in an effort to select the most qualified vendor to execute an improved website for Laguna Woods Village. And whereas the duties and responsibilities of the website ad hoc committee are to, 1, define, analyze, and evaluate current website environment and architecture information, and perform gap analysis to improve website accessibility and functionality, including but not limited to navigation and user experience. 2, make recommendations to deliver an improved website that meets the current and future needs of Laguna Woods Village residents and the community as a whole. 3, to review, evaluate, and select a website development vendor that can build and or improve the Laguna Woods Village website to meet the long-term needs of residents and the community as a whole. 4, to perform the duties imposed upon all advisory committees as established in the GRF bylaws. 5, to review and submit for approval any financial requirements or capital budgets to GRF Finance Committee and Board of Directors. 6, to review the financial, security, and operational impacts of investments and expenditures and make recommendations to the board as they may relate to website redesign or architecture information. 7, to receive regular reports from staff concerning the progress of the implementation, including initiatives, costs, and timelines of the project plan. And 8, to review and reassess as needed the adequacy of this mission statement and recommend to the board any improvements to the website ad hoc committee that is considered necessary or advisable. Now, therefore, be it resolved, April 5th, 2022, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts the mission statement, duties, and responsibilities of the website ad hoc committee. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I move we accept this resolution.
Do I have a second? Thank you. Are there any objections? So if there are no objections, the motion is approved unanimously. Unanimous, yes. Okay. The next item would be to entertain a motion to approve the donation policy. And I don't know if any of you have read this, but I think the resolution will explain what changes that were made in the policy, which was required because of our current requirements for donations has changed. We have other sources for donations like sponsorship, VSF, personal donations, and so this policy is basically showing those other sources. So do you want to go ahead and read the resolution, Joe?
Resolution 90-21-XX, donation policy. Whereas on May 5th, 2020, the board unanimously adopted the donation policy to provide an efficient and effective process for accepting gifts and monetary donations in a responsible, transparent, and accountable manner that is consistent with the Golden Rain Foundation's goals. And whereas the use of the policy over the past 2 years, the need for adjustments has become apparent, including such items as the following: inclusion of sponsorships, elimination of the $100,000 limit on cash donations. Could somebody mute that? Everybody else mute. It's too much noise. Thank you. Elimination of the $100,000 limit on cash donations. Waiver of the requirement for community space element or elements to be purchased by VMS on certain circumstances. Waiver of the requirement that maintenance costs be funded by the donor in certain instances. Application of surplus funds to related or ancillary operational and maintenance expenses. And replacement of Chief Operating Officer, COO, in the policy with Services Manager. And now, therefore, be it resolved, April 5th, 2022, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby approves the amended donation policy as attached to the official minutes of this meeting, and resolves further that Resolution 09-2021, adopted May 5th of 2020, is hereby superseded in its entirety and canceled. And resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I move that we accept this resolution for discussion purposes only, with the final vote postponed for 28 days per Civil Code 4360. Just a second.
Second? Are there any, yes?
No, I'm second.
It's seconded, yes. I didn't know whether, any discussion, no questions from you? Debbie?
No.
Oh, okay, thank
The
you.
seconding.
All right, are there any objections? So if there are no objections, the motion is approved unanimously. All right, before we go on to this next one, as far as the duplicate bridge tournament room reservation rental rate for July 4th, my question is, and I don't know if Brian is here, but there are several activities that will happen on July 4th. And my concern is, have we reviewed the traffic and how we're going to park and because there is also a huge July 4th event, by GRF, and then we have the bridge, and it's all in the same place. So Brian, would you speak to that?
Sure. Thank you, Honorary President, and good morning, Board Directors. So we do have July 4th is obviously Independence Day, a huge celebration over at Clubhouse 2. In regards for this year, we're planning on having a golf cart parade starting over at Clubhouse 5. And then it would transverse through the community, and then we would finish up over at Clubhouse 2. And that would be followed by a concert that we would have in that open space park area right next to Clubhouse 2. Not the side little small park area, but the main lawn that goes down to the golf and restaurant 19 area. And we would have a stage down there. So we do expect quite a few people in attendance. And we would obviously, with the golf cart parade, line them up for viewing purposes in the parking lot over at Clubhouse 2. So parking is going to be very limited. In addition to that, we have the golf operation still going on July 4th, which is also a very popular day. And of course, Restaurant 19 will be operating as well. So the parking impacts are going to be pretty, quite a bit, pretty severe. And we are going to have to look at Clubhouse 7 as an overflow parking lot, especially that lower dirt area that we can utilize for parking as well. So the concern is that with the Bridge Club having their event, and this has happened in the past, where they would have their luncheon first, and then they would utilize Clubhouse 7, the main ballroom area, for their lunch. And then after their lunch, they will go back into the bridge room to continue playing bridge, and then finishing up around 4:30. So that's going to be right in the middle of our event, the July 4th event for the entire community, in addition to the golf operation and the restaurant operation. So the concern is that the impacts on parking are going to be pretty tremendous. So staff's recommendation is to not approve it for this year, and then reevaluate it for next year.
Thank you. I have to apologize because I have a hard time hearing you, but through the plastic, I think it's there. I just really apologize. All right, so the issue is the parking and the traffic. So what would you recommend at this point in time in regards to being able to organize the two events so that we don't have a traffic problem? Juanita.
I make a motion that we deny the request for the duplicate bridge tournament on July 4th because of the parking needed for the other GRF activities.
And Yvonne seconds it? Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, Elsie and then Reza.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question's really for Brian, and I'm not, is this July 4th, the thing, the thing we're talking about, the bridge tournament, is that like a traditional, have they had that several years in a row, or?
They have had it for the last few years. In previous years, it wasn't so much of an impact because the July 4th event would start around 4.
I'm sorry, I can't, no, I can't hear you, Brian.
Sorry about that. I don't know if that's, is there a way you can?
No, it's better if you go down. You're too tall.
Okay. I'll shrink a little bit. So basically, in previous years, the July 4th event would start at 4. Right
Was
around
what?
it would start at 4.
Oh, start at 4.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So, and this year it's a little bit different where our event is starting at 11, and then we're not going to be finishing up until about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So
And their
it's
event
gonna,
is starting when?
at 12 noon.
Could they change their start time to 4?
Point of order.
I don't.
Well,
That's a little bit too late, I would think.
I'm sorry, I thought this was discussion. I apologize. I'm just sorry they can't.
Yeah, I mean, from
off
previous
topic.
discussions, there's not a whole lot of flexibility on their end. They like to have the luncheon and then finish up playing and then be done by around 4.
I'm sorry, Joan, I thought it was on topic. I apologize.
Okay, thank you.
The motion is to not approve this resolution. I'd like to make an amendment to the motion.
All right.
So I move that we amend the motion to say for future consideration, for consideration next year, we'll reconsider it next year. Add that into the motion. We'll refuse this motion because of traffic problems, but reconsider the event next year. So that's my amendment, is to reconsider next year. That needs to be voted on. I move that.
Do we have a second on that?
Well, I guess we need to have that.
You need to have it, she amended the motion, so we need a second on the amended motion. Okay, and then we need to vote on the amended motion.
On the amendment only.
Right, right.
Assuming the amendment passed.
The amendment wasn't seconded.
So the amendment is that we refuse for this year.
No,
We deny
no,
for this
no.
year, and then and reconsider next year.
The amendment is reconsider next year.
Right,
That is the amendment.
right.
Okay.
I don't think there's a second on the amendment.
You have a second?
No. Because why? Because we will reconsider it next year. We're only denying.
So the motion didn't pass. And with the
Okay.
motion.
The amended motion did not pass.
Yes, the amended motion didn't pass, so we will vote on the original motion.
I just have a question. My question is, what's going to be different next year than this year? Because we are not going to have more parking spaces. So I don't think we're going to build any more parking spaces. So why don't we try to change the events? Because we
Point of
cannot
order.
have events on top of events with
Point
this.
of order. The motion was denied. It's not necessary to discuss next year. We're talking this year.
No, I'm talking about in general, about the parking space for this year.
We're talking this year.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
That's why we.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elsie?
Well, I was talking about this year when I said, why can't they change it until 4? I thought that was about this year. And if they can't, they can't. If this is the only option, that's the only option, but that was my question.
Okay. Brian?
Yeah, I mean, in regards to starting at 4, from previous discussions we've had with them, they do not want to start at 4. That's a little bit too late because, yeah.
It's all-day event. An all-day event, practically.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Debbie?
Brian, do they know? Do they know that this is happening today?
Well, they know it's on the agenda. Yes, they do.
Okay, so nobody's here from there.
Not
There's
that
no
I'm aware of,
speakers
no.
from the Bridge Club? I think Dick Rader has his hand up online, but I just wanted to see if they knew that this was happening, the Bridge Club.
It's been on the agenda, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is there any further discussion? So if there's no further discussion,
Yes, I have a comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. I saw this hand and I didn't see your name. Go ahead. Dick?
Oh, thank you very much. The parking issue, as I see it, is perennial at this particular event. When I mean event, July 4th. So even if you didn't have Clubhouse 7 being occupied by the bridge group, I think you have to consider an alternative solution that might satisfy everybody. Is it a possibility that you would run a bus, and the bus would go from, let's say, either the community center or some other area, which would allow additional parking, and encourage as many people as possible from both the 4th of July event sponsored by Recreation and the Bridge Club to utilize the bus? Would that not help us in any situation whereby even if we had just the July 4th event, I think you still have to run a bus? That's my thought and suggestion.
Do you have any comment, Brian?
I mean, we are going to have the shuttle services going back and forth between Clubhouse 7 and Clubhouse 2. In regards to the actual bus services, that's something I would, certainly coordinate with general services. And we have had that in the past where we had operational buses going from Clubhouse 1 over to Clubhouse 2.
Okay. I'm just having a hard time. I think, I apologize. So would you repeat what he said to me?
He said they could do a shuttle, they could look at doing shuttle from Clubhouse 1, and I would also suggest Clubhouse 3, because there's a huge amount of parking there. And that way we could facilitate, and Dick's point was that we should look at this as a holistic as well, because we have this problem a lot when there's conflicting events on holidays.
Right.
That's what they were said.
So, yes, Siobhan?
I do want to be clear, though, we need to look at this. We cannot commit to this morning.
Right. Okay, so the motion right now that's on the floor is that we deny the bridge for the July 4th event at this point in time. So is there any further discussion? Okay, and please speak up a little bit louder.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to. I feel like I'm screaming in this thing, but
I don't know what the problem is today.
I'm not sure either. I just want to make the point that there's two parts to this recommendation, and the first one is being the resolution in regards to their February tournament that they normally have. So I just want to make sure that the board is aware of that. That basically in the past that the Bridge Club would have to pay the exception rate for their February tournament because it was run by an outside organization. That is no longer the case. The Bridge Club is coordinating that tournament, and they're not relying on the outside organization to manage that for them. So the request is to go ahead and supersede the resolution 90-11-28, and that the Bridge Club would just continue to collect the regular guest rates, but not be applied to having to pay for the exception rate. There's two things in one here.
I didn't hear what you said, Yvonne.
There's two things in one motion, so we only have a motion to deny July 4th.
Okay, and that's what,
Madam Chair.
Joan has something to say, Bunny.
Madam Chair,
yes?
I call for a division of the motion. There are two motions in one, and we've already had a parking problem with the July 4th event, and they want to change fees on the February event. I think this motion needs to be divided.
Yes, you're right. So the first item that we're voting on is to deny July 4th, their event on July 4th. So we had discussion on that, and so all those who agree that we want to deny, I'm sorry. I am off today because of my hearing. I'm sorry. All right. So yes? Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Madam Chair?
So all those approve the motion?
Have we closed?
Yes,
Have we closed the discussion?
yes, we did disclose it.
I-
Do you have a further?
I just want to bring up, what I thought I heard was Siobhan saying that they were looking into how they could accommodate both.
I said we could look into it, but we cannot make a commitment this morning.
Okay, yeah, exactly. And so I think to vote on that without looking into it further would be premature. To deny would be
Well, we
premature.
can postpone it till next month,
I-
till we have further information.
That puts it close. That puts it 2 months away.
No, that would be May.
That's what it's just a thought.
Okay, so what we need to do is vote on the motion, and the motion is to deny July 4th. So that we need to either approve or deny. So all those approve. All those
I can't.
that want, and all those noes for July 4th.
I abstain.
Approve the motion.
I abstain.
The motion is to deny.
Right. So, yes.
So all those who say yes on denying, so we only have one, and those noes, they want to raise your hand? Okay, so the motion did not pass.
Can I make a motion that we have Siobhan and staff look at the options and bring it to us in May?
Would ask
Since her
her-
motion didn't pass, it's still on the
Well, we
table.
have-
Second.
Excuse me.
There's two things, guys.
We don't need a motion for that, Mr. Rick.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
We need clarification on the motion.
Oh, okay.
It's not clear.
the motion was to deny the Bridge Club.
No, I'm sorry. Motion on the resolution. The motion to deny fails.
Right,
So you have a resolution to vote that hasn't been read, and the
Okay.
resolution is not clear. It's not clear because let me read it and let's look at it.
okay.
The duplicate bridge. That's okay. Thank you, Madam President. Resolution 9022XX, duplicate bridge tournament room reservation rental rate and July 4th annual rollover exception. Whereas staff recommends to cancel and supersede Resolution 901128 to show the cancellation of the exception rate during the annual February duplicate bridge tournament and recommends the duplicate bridge club's request for an exception to the permanent rollover reservation policy for a July 4th automatic annual rollover. So there you have two motions in one. And whereas from 2008 to 2011, the Duplicate Bridge Club was approved each year to hold an annual Bridge Unit 525 event on the second weekend in February at Clubhouse 7 in the Bridge Room and Main Lounge. And whereas on April 5th, 2011, GRF approved Resolution 90-11-28, accepting the annual Bridge Unit 525 event as an automatic annual rollover reservation and exception to the permanent rollover reservation policy, and that the organization shall be changed, shall be charged the exception rate for use of Clubhouse 7 Bridge Room and the Main Lounge as the event is booked on behalf of an outside organization. And whereas GRF approved Recreation and Special Events Department policy section regarding permanent rollover reservation states, the rollover must have a minimum of 4 identical reservations during the calendar year. All dates in the series must be for the same day of the month or week, such as first Tuesday or every Tuesday, and so on, at the same time and duration, and in the same room. No modifications. Date, time, duration, location, and so on are permitted. And whereas on January 13th, 2022, the duplicate bridge president approached the CAC and requested that the exception rate for their upcoming tournament, February 12th and 13th, 2022, be eliminated. The president expressed that the outside organization was no longer coordinating the event. Instead, the Village Duplicate Bridge Club is solely in charge of the tournament. It was also stated that the tournament would be held in the bridge room and the main lounge was no longer needed. And whereas the Community Activities Committee concurred and approved the use of the bridge room for the Duplicate Bridge Club tournament at no cost while continuing to collect the $5 guest fee. And whereas the Duplicate Bridge Club is requesting an exception to the permanent rollover reservation policy for an automatic annual rollover to host a barbecue on July 4th at Clubhouse 7 in the main lounge each year. And whereas the February 12th and 13th and the Duplicate Bridge Club logged 141 total guests in attendance for the year's tournament, equating it to $705 in GRF guest fees, and collective staff anticipates annual receipt of up to $800 in guest fees from the tournament. Now, therefore, be it resolved, April 5th, 2022, the Board of Directors of the Corporation hereby accepts to cancel and supersede Resolution 90-11-28 to show the cancellation of the exception rate during the annual February Duplicate Bridge Tournament and recommend the Duplicate Bridge Club's request for an exception to the permanent rollover reservation policy for a July 4th automatic annual rollover, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I move we accept this resolution for discussion purposes only at this point and postpone the final vote for 28 days for CC 4360.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Is there a second first or not?
Yes, there's a second. Yvonne's, okay, Juanita?
Why are we talking about the February 12th and 13th Bridge Club? This is April. Why are we doing things in the past? This should only be for the 4th of July issue. The tournament in February has already taken place.
Madam Chair.
Has it not?
Yes, it has.
Okay.
So, but the issue that came about was when they requested to have the exception rate waived, was that there's a resolution tied to it. So we need to make an amendment to the resolution if that is no longer a requirement for them to be charged the exception rate because they're not relying on this outside organization. So that's why it's brought up to the GRF board at this time.
On the tournament that's already taken place.
Yes, but it's going to happen again next year as well, and we're
Next year, we look at next year.
Yeah, but the resolution would also include next year. So it's just
Right.
it's just an update to a current resolution. Okay, Joan?
We have two motions, or not, we have one motion to cover two problems. And I would suggest, you're going to hate me for this, that it go back to committee. That it needs to be changed. Either that or during the time of the 28 days, it's changed so that there are two separate things here. We have a need to change how much it costs because it's no longer a corporate issue. It's a club that's sponsoring it. And we have a request to have a permanent rollover for July 4th, which has a lot of parking problems. So those two things need to be worked out before we do any final vote on this. And this is all part of the discussion.
Thank you. We still,
I agree with Joan.
I agree with Joan too. Okay, Egon?
I just wanted to say that I do agree with Joan. There is no way to move forward in this because you're putting a permanent rollover or an automatic rollover for next year into this thing, and you're trying to deny this year's deal, and everybody will be confused and angry at the Bridge Club. Those people will be angry at us because it looks like we didn't give them a fair hearing, and so we've got to separate those things and also look at the issue of busing people in. It's not fair to say, hey, the golf people are more important than the other ones. So we've got to cover everything if at all possible.
Okay. Joan?
I'd just like to say the time is very short as far as the 4th of July is concerned, and we already see that there's a big problem with parking. But on the other hand, we need to, since a resolution was attached to the February problem, we need to certainly deal with that. But we can't deal with it because it's all tied up together. So I call for a division of the resolution. I don't know.
I think we should make a motion, because you asked for a motion here, but I think we should amend the motion and basically say that it needs to go back to committee to be revised. And now, Joan?
Joan, you're muted.
Yes.
Sorry. We simply have to vote on the motion to send it back to committee or not. That's it.
Right.
I moved that we send it back to committee.
I second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? No further discussion? Okay. Are there any objections? If there are no objections, this will be sent back to committee for review. Thank you.
Lenny, can we take 5 minutes, because this golf thing is going to take an hour.
Okay.
The committee.
Okay.
One other thing, Madam Chair?
Yes?
Okay, one other thing. The committee might consider having an emergency meeting for this particular thing, since it's whatever.
Okay.
Right, they can do that, but we voted to go back to committee. They can have emergency meeting and we can readdress that. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I've got a request from some directors here for a 5-minute break. And so we're going to have a 5-minute break, and we will be back in 5 minutes, and then the next item will be the men's golf club.
Sorry, guys.
I thought we were just going to.
Stretch your legs.
I'm a Prose.
Thank you. We'll resume our agenda, and the next item on the agenda is to entertain a motion to approve the Men's Golf Club Annual Memorial Tournament. Joan, will you read the resolution, please?
Right. Resolution 90-22-XX, Men's Golf Club Annual Memorial Tournament. Whereas staff recommends to grant the men's club use of the 27-hole golf course for the annual Memorial Golf Tournament on May 21st with the stipulation of paying regular resident and guest greens fees, Clubhouse 2 room rental rates, and bar service rates. And whereas the men's 18-hole golf club hosts the annual Laguna Woods Village Memorial Golf Tournament in May on the 27-hole golf course, all proceeds are donated to the Laguna Woods Village Foundation to assist residents in financial need. And whereas past requests were made annually to the GRF board to allow free use of the golf course in an effort to increase the donation amount for the foundation. Previous requests were granted in 2018 and 2019. And whereas tournaments such as the Laguna Woods Village Memorial Golf Tournament are typical in the golf community and are held to generate monetary proceeds for various charity organizations. The 2019 Memorial Golf Tournament raised $35,000 for the Laguna Woods Foundation. Furthermore, the allowance of such tournaments creates positive goodwill within the community, benefiting residents. And whereas on March 10, 2022, the Community Activities Committee approved exclusive use of the golf course on May 21st for the Men's Golf Club Annual Memorial Golf Tournament, with stipulation that all greens fees, Clubhouse 2 rental rates, and bar service fees are paid in full with no discounts. Now therefore be it resolved, April 5th, 2022, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts to grant the Men's Golf Club use of the 27-hole golf course for the annual Memorial Golf Tournament on May 21st, with the stipulation of paying regular resident and guest greens fees, Clubhouse 2 room rental rates, and bar service rates, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I move that we approve this resolution for discussion purposes and postpone it for the 28 days required by Civil Code 4360 for our final vote. Need a second?
Do we have a second? Yvonne seconded. and discussion. So I just want to let the audience know that the only thing they're asking for is to use the golf course exclusively for the tournament. And in the past, GRF had contributed quite a bit of money towards this tournament. And so this year, they've agreed to pay for all of the fees. And so again, they're only asking for exclusive use of the golf course for one day. So I just don't want it to get mixed up with all of the other issues there. And so then I will open it up for discussion. Okay.
There is a speaker.
Questions?
It's
Okay.
Sheenmold Manor 5155.
Good morning again. Now I am addressing you on an agenda item. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this morning. I'm Marcy Scheinwald. I'm the president of the foundation. As you heard earlier this morning, the foundation is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. And that 25th anniversary is a tribute to the village. We could not have achieved that milestone without the support of the village. But I want to explain to you what that means. In the past 5 years, the foundation has spent over $1.2 million providing services to village residents. 99% of those funds are raised in the village. We are truly a product of the village. Over 95% of the money we raise goes to direct services. We are an all-volunteer board. But I want to explain what that means in terms of the Men's Golf Club and why I am speaking on their behalf today. The Men's Golf Club funds that they raise for us through their memorial golf outing gives us the flexibility to provide additional services. Their money last year and the year before was used to fund Meals on Wheels. We, the foundation, are the primary funder of Meals on Wheels in the village. Last year, we funded over 80,000 meals to village residents. Their funds also helped the foundation step up. And as you remember, during the vaccination effort, the foundation provided the lunch and snacks for all of the wonderful volunteers that came here to make sure that village residents had access to vaccinations. I say this because, as you heard earlier today when my fellow board member Christine spoke to you, our motto is neighbors helping neighbors. It isn't anything that I do or my board members do. It's what we as a village do. And the Men's Golf Club are one of our better neighbors. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning.
Thank you, Marcy. We have some golfers here. All right, is there any other discussion? Any questions? Okay, so if there are no further discussions, we will have a vote. Is there anyone that opposes? So since there is no objections to the motion proves unanimously. So, and I want to thank this golf club, okay, for agreeing to pay for the fees this year. And what that means to GRF, okay, is anywhere to $8,000 to $15,000 that usually cost GRF to have this tournament. And so I want to thank you again, okay? So the next item, excuse me, to entertain a motion to approve the Cali, Sonora.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes.
That was quick and painless.
I did.
Let's let them get out first.
Okay, let's go on to the next item and then we can go have lunch. Okay, so the next item is to entertain a motion to approve Cali Sonora parking permit program. Joan, do we have a resolution here?
Right, Resolution 90-22-XX, Cali Sonora Parking Permit Program. Whereas the Golden Rain Foundation, GRF, through the Security Division, enforces traffic rules and regulations within the boundaries of Laguna Woods Village, and the officers are empowered to issue notices of violations of those rules and regulations as part of the Traffic Rules Enforcement Program. And whereas the street of Calle Sonora that begins from the south curve of El Toro Road and south into the community past Gate 14 is private property belonging to GRF. And whereas the Security and Community Access Committee has recommended implementing a parking permit to include this area as part of the Traffic Rules Enforcement Program. Now, therefore, be it resolved on April 5th, 2022, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby approves implementation of a parking permit program with an appropriation of $3,982 to be funded from the operating fund. And resolved further, the parking permit fee will be $97.50 annually, with an estimated $6,500 generated revenue annually from these fees. And resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of this corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I move we accept this resolution.
Second? Is there any discussion? There's no, okay. Juanita?
My question, and probably Carlos, you can answer this, is this going to require extra security details to maintain this, that people do have the parking play there? And if so, how would that take away from the regular duties of security?
No, it would not require any extra staff. It would just be part of the regular patrol of our traffic specialists and our security officers in the community. Right now, it's just an area that hasn't been programmed for any type of, or authorized for any type of parking. It'll just be in addition to what we already do. They already go by there every day, and they just don't have the ability to issue any notices of violation.
Well, I would think particularly in the beginning, while people get used to this, that it's going to take maybe a few extra patrols to see that they've got the parking permits on the cars.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Are there any objections? So if there's no objections, the motion proves unanimously. Thank you. So we've already taken our 5-minute break. Let's go on to the committee reports. Director Hopkins, the report on the Finance Committee, and then would you just continue on to the Treasurer report?
May I have the first chart, please? Wonderful. That's interesting. I didn't realize what I looked like on the screen, so. Well, thanks, Madam Chair. Let me begin with slide 1. And what you'll see there is through the reporting period of February 28th, 2022, the GRF had net revenue of $1.221 thousand. That's $1,221,000, with a total revenue of $7,590,000. Of course, total expense was $6,369,000. GRF was better than budget by $795,000, with total expenses coming in at $1,331,000 better than budget. The favorable results can be seen in expenses were partially offset by lower revenues of $536,000. Now, what you're seeing is the total GRF picture, which includes unrealized losses through the valuation loss of our long-term securities. Our long-term securities are there for between 5 and 10 years, and our cash profile means that we won't be touching these securities during that period. They will be allowed to mature to full maturity. So these types of fluctuations are a little bit scary, but they happen all the time. We are in a very volatile period of our economy right now, and I think those bonds may reflect that. Slide 2. We also keep a close eye on the operating portion of our financial results. The operating fund, and that's without the depreciation, shows a favorable variance of $1,187,000 through the reporting period, with expense being better than budget by $1,327,000. It's also offset by revenue, which is slightly worse than budget by $140,000. And I just want to keep in mind also that you're going to hear a lot of variance explanations due to timing. It's quite usual for in finance in the first 2 months that a lot of expenses have not been billed yet, and we would be delayed in getting some of the bills for work that's already been done. Usually that catches up by the end of the first quarter. So it's not unusual to have timing be the issue on many of these. Now the next chart, chart 3, shows that reserve and restricted revenues and expenses. Together, these funds show an unfavorable variance of $392,000 through the reporting period, with revenue worse than budget by $396,000, and expense better than budget by just $4,000. What this reflects is what our expected revenues coming from for the reserve fund portion of our HOA, as well as the trust facilities fee. Slide 4, please. Now, slide 4, this chart shows the most significant operating-only variances by category, with the green bars representing the variances, favorable variances, and the orange bars representing the unfavorable variances. Our under employee compensation, that variance is due primarily to open positions, and those open positions are primarily in security and general services as well as information services. As we've been saying, recruitment is in process, but I think everybody has heard of the challenges in getting good qualified people during this time in our economy. Of course, recruitment is always in process, and the VMS Human Resources does a fantastic job in trying to keep up with all of the challenges. Our cable programming franchise fees show a favorable variance of $261,000, and that's again due to timing of the invoices that have not been received. Outside services of $199,000 are due to unutilized janitorial services, and again, that's due to some of the closures and the unusual hours that we've been having with our clubhouses. Materials and supplies are $176,000 favorable, and again, that's due to timing. Some of the expenses have not yet been billed to us. The unfavorable variance is in broadband revenue services, and that's $139,000, and that's due to less ad insertion as a result of ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, causing advertisers to actually spend less. This variance is further lowered by high-speed internet revenue being less than budgeted due to an anticipated contract renegotiation. That contract renegotiation was expected to be completed by now, and it hasn't been, so it's an ongoing discussion. Slide 5, please. Okay, on this slide, it showed that we have sources of revenue that are other than the assessments, such as fees and rentals. To date, we've received over $1.5 million of non-assessment revenue. And by the way, that's not including trust facilities fees. This is operating revenue only. And by category, we can see that the largest revenue is broadband, and followed by golf revenue, and other revenue follows closely behind, or pretty far behind, actually. So roughly 77% of our revenue, non-assessment revenue, is from broadband and golf revenue. Slide 6, please. The operating expenses to date are $5.5 million, and that excludes depreciation. Our largest category, as you would expect, is compensation related and cable programming, which also is the largest revenue item, second largest revenue item, is the second in terms of our expense. Slide 7. This shows our reserve and restricted funds and what the adjusted balances are. Starting with the first column on the left, our reserve funds have a combined ending of $31.2 million, with the restricted having an ending balance of $2.3 million. That restricted of 2.3 is really primarily the contingency fund for GRF. Included in this are the contributions received this year through assessments, trust facility fees, and investment earnings, actual losses. Our second column shows a work in process of $2.2 million for the reserve and $43,000 for restricted, reflecting the amounts paid for projects not yet complete. And we'll see on the next chart that what is actually reserved for those projects. The third column represents the adjusted fund balances of $29 million for reserve and $2.3 million for restricted. Next chart, please. This chart shows our resale history from 2020 to 2022. Our community-wide sales so far have been 165 through February. Most of these transactions generate the trust facilities fee, which currently for those that close after March 31st is $5,000. It will go up to $7,500 for those that close after March 31st. But it is 23% higher than what it was last year, which was significantly higher than the year before. Slide 9, please. This chart shows you, gives you an idea of where the reserve money is committed. Of the $12.9 million appropriated by the board for various projects and equipment purchases, the remaining encumbrances are 10.8, which really says that there's still a lot of money to be spent this year, or that we have planned to spend this year. Reserved restricted funds had a total appropriations of $50,000, And you may recall the restricted funds that we allotted last year did include some legal obligations that we had for pending cases. Slide 10, please. Slide 10 shows our adjusted fund balances on a historical basis, and you will see that the last 3 years, our funds have increased significantly, and partially due to less than expected spending. And we're looking, obviously we don't want to spend money if we don't have to, but given what the reserve's purposes are, we want to make sure that we're spending appropriately. So to that end, we are in the process of having a reserve study, which will take an evaluation of all of our buildings and other resources to understand just where we are exposed in terms of maintenance or just, in terms of maintenance and looking at our infrastructure, building infrastructure. So that will be concluded, I think, by the end of the second quarter. So that is my report. Are there any questions? Comments? Thank you. Moving on to the committee. Our next meeting is April 20th. The Financial Committee is April 20th. I did report on what we did last at our February meeting, which essentially was we went over our investment profile, and we had Dan Quirk from, what's the name of the company? Can't remember the name of the company now, Sageview. We had Dan Quirk come in and give us a complete understanding of what our investment strategy is and how it is reflected in our current status of our investments. Again, our investments are long-term investments. We don't anticipate having to use any of the cash flow from those long-term investments for any near-term projects. And that ends my report for the Finance Committee.
Thank you. So next is Strategic Planning Committee.
We only meet every other month, and so my report from last month is still the same, and we will meet again on May 2nd at 9:30 a.m. right here in the
Thank
boardroom.
you. All right, the report of the Community Activity Committee, Director Horton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This month or last month at the CAC meeting, we are going to put in new signage at the facilities for proper contact information in case there's an accident. The gates at Garden Center 2 are working, which I really like. And there's lots of events that are being managed by the Recreation Department in the next month or so. The Village Games, Easter at the Equestrian Center, like Ms. Foster mentioned, the Health and Wellness at Clubhouse 5. Also, May 21st is the annual men's tournament charity golf extravaganza. Also, I wanted to thank the people that made donations, the Saddle Club and the old Prose. We really appreciate it. And also, I wanted to say we want to thank all the 65 volunteers over at the library. During COVID, they kept us going. And our next meeting is on April 14th. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to report on the Equestrian Center ad hoc. We meet quarterly. And the most exciting thing that is going to be coming up is a Renaissance Fair. So we will have a Renaissance with the Equestrian Center. Yes, we'll have a Renaissance Fair. It's in May, and one of the exciting things about this is the Equestrian Center and staff are planning the event, but it will also have the participation of many of the clubs that want to participate in this event. So I look forward to having this fair because I think it's going to be a great event for the whole community. So we just met, so it's going to be May, before we meet again, and everyone will be notified that's on the committee. So thank you. The next one would be the report of Landscape Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. The Landscape Committee met on March 9th, and Bob Merget, who is the chief arborist, one of 5 that we have on our landscape team, gave a report on all of the trees in the village. And basically it was a historical report of how many we have using the database that was developed by Arbor Prose and is still active even though Arbor Prose went out of business. Some people are concerned that we don't have Arbor Prose anymore. We have other companies, but they use that database. The database is ours and is good, and it tells us where every tree is, how big it is, how old it is, the species, the condition, all of that. One of the interesting things were the slides that he had on the different conditions of trees that people who aren't arborists might not really recognize as what some of the problems are. And they had a chart that showed how many trees were diseased or not in good shape, and how many trees were affecting foundations or roofs, and all of the different kinds of things that could affect the trees. Also, it was reported that the master control irrigation system would be going out to bid this month in April. We're looking forward to that. That's going to be a really big thing for our landscaping. And the Elisa Creek report was an update of the work that is scheduled for April. We do work on the creek in April and in August. So this told us what we were going to be doing in April. Also, we had a report on water conservation by Director Donna Renee Sostix from 3rd, because they do have a water conservation committee that GRF doesn't have. So we appreciated her report and her PowerPoints and slides, which kind of brought us up to date on all of that. Our next meeting will be June 8th here in the boardroom, and we're going to concentrate on grounds management at that particular meeting.
So Juanita, excuse me, you also attend the El Toro Water
Yes,
District?
I do.
Do you have anything to say in
There
regard-
wasn't anything special that came up at that
Okay.
this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So the next item would be the report of maintenance and construction, Director Gotthoffner.
Thank you, Madam President. There was no meeting of the ad hoc M&C committee in March. However, we did hold a workshop on March 9th in the Cypress Room. We discussed many items there, including the EV charging. We went on and Guy West updated us that there was that work was progressing on the back kitchen rooms, but that something had come up and we need to remove some asbestos, which was within the cost for the project. Dan recommended that we make a formal request to get an overall comprehensive plan for VMS office requirements and other space use. We also talked about the broadband HVAC replacement. We're going to get an update on a welding shop at the next meeting, which is next week. And then Sue Stevens requested that we follow up on maintenance service of standby generators. And then there were some other minor items. Oh, one thing of interest, SkyWest knows that in the past we'd set up a contractors fair to bring contractors into Clubhouse 5 and allow people to meet them. And this is an interesting idea that perhaps we should revisit, since there have been so many changes over the COVID period. So the next meeting will be April 13th at 9:30 in the boardroom. And I'll move on to the Clubhouse ad hoc committee, renovation ad hoc committee. There was no meeting. However, on the 25th of March, there was a tour of the Clubhouse 1 area by some design consultants, and they will come back to us with their cost proposals. And when that happens, we will call a special meeting to discuss those items. All I have on that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the next item is report of media and communications. Joan, please go ahead.
You muted yourself.
Okay, you're still.
Joni,
Yeah. You're muted.
You're unmuted now. Thank you.
I'm there now. Okay. Hi, everybody. Media Communications Committee met Monday, March 21st at 9:30, and the highlights of the meeting include, first of all, it's been a steady increase in high-speed internet subscriptions. And another thing that was mentioned was that the Weather Channel was up for renewal, and they were proposing to increase something like 400%. But NCTC negotiated a much better contract than that 5% per year that they were proposing. And instead, the rates will increase like 2 pennies in 2023, 1 cent in 2024, and 2 cents in 2025. And the additional networks they were proposing will not be there. So we'll have them under this agreement until February 28th, 2026. So don't worry, you can still find the weather easily. Next thing was Paul Ortiz reported on the fact that closed captioning, is usually done by someone sitting there watching things, listening to things going on and typing. But we are switching to Cablecast video server, which uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to display the captions in real time for live and pre-recorded content. So beginning this month, all programming broadcasts on Village Television, which is approximately 1,250 hours of content annually, will be closed captions utilizing the Cablecast video server. So the new closed captioning process will save the community approximately $25,000 to $30,000 in 2022, and assure that all Village Television programming complies with FCC Title 47 C79. And that is the end of my report. Thank you. Our next meeting will be Monday, April 18th at 1:30 in the boardroom and on virtual. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the next item is Mobile Vehicles Committee, and that would be Director Tibbetts. And then if he would continue with the Security and Community Access Committee.
All right.
Thank you.
I've lost my voice, I'm sorry, but there was no meeting last month of the Mobility and Vehicles Committee. Our next meeting will be tomorrow at 1:30 in this room. And on Security and Community Access, there was no meeting last month. And our next meeting will be April 25th at 1:30. That's it.
Thank you. Report of the Laguna Woods Village traffic hearings. Elsie.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We had our meeting on, and incidentally, for those of you in TV land that don't know it, the traffic committee is comprised of board members from GRF, United, Third, and the Towers. And I just wanted to clarify that. We met on March 16th, and it was here, it was actually a hybrid meeting. And we had, once again, we had a light schedule this month. We had two residents with 3 violations. And once again, the winner was failure to obey a stop sign. That was 2 out of the 3. And one of them was for a valid driver's license not produced. And this was kind of a strange one because the resident had a driver's license, but he didn't stop for the security officer who was running his, whoop, 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 and his lights. But I guess he didn't see him. So he left the village. And of course, our security officers can't go outside the village, or they don't have any jurisdiction outside the village. So obviously then he couldn't produce his driver's license because he didn't stop for the officer. And that's kind of a catch-22, but we resolved it by finding him guilty of not having a driver's license because it wasn't produced, but then we dropped the fine. So that was to remind everybody in the village that you have to have a driver's license to drive in the village in an automobile, not in a golf cart, but in an automobile. And also, if you see little lights going off behind you, they're not doing that for fun or to let you know there's a party. They want you to pull over and stop. So that was it. Not much of a report, but always interesting at the traffic hearing. And our next hybrid meeting will be held on April 20th at 9:00 a.m. here for part of the hybrid. Thank you.
Thank you. So Juanita, you're next with the report of the Disaster Preparedness Task Force.
Thank you, Madam President. The task force met on March 29th, and our next meeting is May 31st. We did participate in the community bazaar last Saturday. We gave away over 100 of the refrigerator magnet file of life. It was very popular. We always give out everything that we have. Also, we have a sticker that goes on windows if you have pets inside. And everybody should show this so that first responders, whatever, know that there is a pet inside. Particularly, they find with cats, they like to hide under beds when people come in. So if you know there's one in there and there's something like a fire, they can take extraordinary Also, the office here in the community center is open from 10 to 12 every day with supplies on sale. And this month at the library, there is a display for disaster preparedness of all of the different items that you can get through our disaster preparedness office. We still need more good neighbor captains for buildings and for cul-de-sacs. So if you are interested at all, please let me know or call the security department and talk to our administrative assistant, JJ, and sign up because we need a lot more of those in the village than we have. Thank you.
Thank you. So the next item is Information Technology Advisory Committee. Director Hopkins.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you know, the ITAC committee meets weekly, and we're now in the process of finalizing the contract with Amends. And once that's finalized, the work will start.
Thank you. So the next item is future agenda. Are there any items that we need to add to future agenda? So if there are none, director comments. Okay, first we have Elsie, then Reza, then Juanita. Okay.
Oh, it's a great meeting. Thank you, everybody. But that isn't really what I wanted to say. I can't remember the lady's name, Karen Mackin, I believe. Nobody ever addressed her business with the people riding their bikes on the walking path. And I just wondered if we could, has anybody researched it? I mean, that's loud. Oh, may I call in Siobhan?
Or Director,
Well, Yvonne
or Director Horton, she has the same
Yeah.
information.
It's not against the rules.
Right. So, I mean, that's official. I mean, we've looked it up.
That's
and it's
right.
for reals, not against. I mean, I know that, but I don't know what the rules are. So are we going to
It's
get
been
back to
checked
her?
with security. It's been checked with security.
Oh, no, I believe
And-
you. If we've checked up on it, we've checked up on it.
Yes,
So
we will
that's-
follow up with the resident.
Yeah.
That's our
Just,
standard protocol.
I figured you did. I just wanted to mention her, that's all.
Okay.
Because we kind of didn't at the time.
Okay, so the next person was Juanita and then Reza, or Reza and then
I don't
Juanita.
have a question, I just was one thing that people have questioned.
Okay,
I have one after Juanita.
okay.
Okay, I'd just like to go back really quickly to the website. I think it's important that people know what the problems are with the website. I mean, they see the problems all the time. But the website was designed originally as a marketing thing. It was not designed to do all of the things that we have added to it. Over the years, something came up, put it on the website, put it on the website, put it on the website. And that's why it's kind of a hodgepodge that really needs to be redesigned and looked at, because it's not functioning as well as it could. But please know that that's because it was never designed to do that in the first place. Thank you.
That's why we founded the website. That's why we founded the website ad hoc committee.
Right, but I don't think
Meeting.
residents know that that's where it started.
Okay, thank you. Reza's next.
Thank you for the meeting, no comments.
All right, I'm sorry, Debbie.
I just want to ask one question regarding the bicycling. So the person said it was an electric bike, not a regular bike. The rules have no biking, but I think probably when those rules were written, they weren't thinking about electric bikes.
There is no prohibition against bicycles.
Right, no prohibition against bicycles, but how long ago was that written? Because electric bikes are pretty new to the scene. And that would be frightening if you were on the bicyclist is one thing, because I'm a cyclist, but an electric bike on the Serpentine Trail, that would scare animals, pets, people, and maybe that's something we have to really consider, that there would be a prohibition against electric bikes rather than just a bicycle. That's all I'm saying I can understand her being concerned about an electric bike.
Thank you. Are there any other comments?
Just,
Okay, Siobhan?
just to add to the website, just keep in mind that the website is being revised. There's a website committee that's now going to understand and study and improve the website for modern use. So it's an ongoing effort. The other thing, just a comment on the bikes. There's no prohibition on the bikes, but nothing. I don't have.
Well said.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, really.
Oh, I was about to say, that's something for the board to consider, not VMS. So if we could take it up.
Well, I think it would come up in CAC.
It should.
If there is a policy or any policy change or addition or something in regards to the safety and the biking, has to start there.
Yeah, but this resident is asking us to not only prohibit bicycles, but she wants us to change the signage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so,
a kind of anti-bike person.
I mean, if bikes aren't prohibitive, so there are no need for signs.
No, no, no.
No, the bikes are
She's
not prohibited.
asking me to change.
Not
the sign.
prohibit, that's what I mean, they can ride up, there's nothing that says they can't ride, so she's asking for signs which are contradictory to our
Right.
policies.
Right,
That's,
I get it.
yeah, okay.
The electric bike is a separate issue, I think. But as far as the bicycles go and the signage,
no need for signs,
no.
because there's nothing to put a sign up against.
So are there any other comments? Siobhan?
I just wanted to put on screen the contact information for CR&R. This question came up earlier. Residents can contact CR&R by telephone or by email.
Okay, great. We have this information and they go to the website also, right? Thank you. And so today I have to tell you that I really appreciate your patience with me today. I realized that the T-coil, that I accessed through my phone was basically not working. And so I was unable to hear the people, that came up to speak. And once it turned on, then I hear perfectly. But I want to appreciate it. I appreciate your patience. So thank you. So let's recess and go to lunch, and then we will continue with our closed meeting. So thank you.